So here we are. I never thought in a million years I'd ever be making this video. And it's not like because I've never wanted to, it's just because I've never really felt the need to. And I think like the main reason why I want to share my coming out experience with you is just because I know that it does help people. Before I came out, I used to go on YouTube and I used to look at people's coming out stories. And I think it's just because knowing that somebody else has struggled with what you're struggling with at the minute, and like knowing how they overcome it, it does really help. I never get nervous on camera, but I am really nervous to film this video and I don't know what's going on with us. I'm already out and I'm just like sharing how I came out, so I don't really know why I'm so nervous. But anyways, this is my coming out experience and I'm going to start from the beginning, which is the best place to start. So I think I'm going to start at high school because like throughout primary school and my younger years, like there's not really much to talk about in terms of me sexuality. Throughout primary school, like 99% of my friends were female, but that's about it. That was kind of an early hint. But high school, from the get-go, as soon as I started high school, I used to get name called. I used to get, even as far to say as like I used to get bullied, just because of the way that I acted, the way that I talked, the way that I went about things, and just because like I was a bit more feminine than most of the other lads in my year. They used to, yeah, it was just horrible. I remember like during when we had PE and we used to have to get changed in the locker room because everyone in the year thought I was gay because of the way I acted. I used to like try and cover myself up and I used to like face the wall to make sure that I didn't like catch anyone's eye, because yeah, it wasn't a nice high school experience. And then when I got to like year 9, I actually got a girlfriend. Sure, it didn't go to the school, but everyone in school was shocked, as you can imagine. You know, after years of calling us gay boy, they were shocked that I had a girlfriend. And for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call her Daisy. So me and Daisy dated for 1.5 years. At the time, I did genuinely think that I had strong feelings for her and that I was attracted to her. And it even got to the point where I was saying that I loved her. We used to have like a friend group that we used to hang out with. There was me, 2 of my friends, her and her gay best friend, and that was the first ever time I'd ever noticed myself looking at a lad and thinking, oh yeah, he's quite attractive. So it kind of all just came out of nowhere, and by this point I was like so confused, like looking at lads and being attracted to them. So that relationship ended. So the first person I ever came out to was my cousin, who was in my year at school. So I came out to her, but I came out as bisexual rather than gay, because I know a lot of like people do come out as bisexual first because it's kind of like a stepping stone. And she was the only person I told throughout the entirety of high school. That kind of like gave us faith that I could come out to other people, because when I told her, she kind of joked about it and was like, oh, okay, then who you're attracted to, and like, you know, stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't make it uncomfortable. It wasn't until the last year of high school that I had my first date with a boy. And my first date, for the purpose of this video, we're going to call him Liam. My first date with Liam, we went to Starbucks, and I can't actually remember how I met him. I think it was on Instagram. He followed us and slid into me DMs. So we had our first date at Starbucks, and I remember just on my way there, I was shaking. I was so nervous. And funny enough, when I got there and we started chatting, he said the same. He said he'd never been on a date with a boy before. But then once we started to get talking, the conversation was just flowing, and I just, like, in that moment, I realised, like, yeah, I'm definitely gay. There's just no question about it. So that was like a massive turning point for us. Then I had a second date with him, which I went to his house. I remember like we were on the couch playing Grand Theft Auto on his PlayStation, and he leaned in and like he kissed us, and I don't know, that was the first time I ever kissed a lad, and there was just like a spark there. Like I'd never ever felt like that in my life. It was just a surreal experience. After that date, I remember going home and I got a message and he literally just binned us off, and I remember just at the time I was in shock and I was just so gutted because like I'd never had this connection with someone before, and then a few months went by and I just didn't date anyone else. I focused on finishing school, so after high school I decided to download a gay dating app because I know like I won't be name called from people from school because I'm not going to see them again, and none of my family will be on there because none of them are gay. So it was like a safe space where I could explore and experiment without anybody finding out. So I started talking to a lad on there and we set up a date like quite quickly because it was kind of obvious that we had like a lot of things in common. So we set up a date for the weekend coming. I remember it got to the weekend and I just told me mum, I'm going out, and just ran out of the house. So I didn't even tell her where, which bad mistake. I really should have, because that's kind of irresponsible. But the date was through Middlesbrough, so it's like 1.5 hours on a bus. So I went for the bus, got the bus through Middlesbrough and met this lad. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to call him Jake, because I don't really want to give it any names. So went through Middlesbrough to meet Jake. When we went on like a nice walk, we went for a coffee, and yeah, it was a really good date to be fair. And then I got a phone call from my mum, and I remember my heart absolutely racing because she's going to ask us where I am, and I don't know what to tell her. So I was panicking a bit, so I just didn't answer. So then she phoned us like about half an hour later and rang us again, and I still didn't answer. And then she kept ringing us and ringing us and ringing us, and I just wasn't answering. So what she did was, because me auntie lives next door, she got me auntie to ring us. And I did actually answer me auntie because I didn't really think about it. So me auntie's there and she goes, where are you? I said, and then something just clicked in mind and I was like, you know what, it's not even worth it anymore. I can't be bothered to hide it. I just said, I'm on a date. And she goes, oh, you're on a date? Who's the lucky girl? And I was like, oh God. So I just went, you know what, fuck it. I just went, his name's Jake. And I just remember she went, do you want to come in mine when we get home and we can talk about it? Like, with her being next door, it was super helpful. And I went, oh yeah, that'd be nice. So when I got home, I didn't go home first. I went into my auntie's and we just talked about it. She was like really understanding. When I just said, oh yeah, I've been on a date with Jake. Oh, he seems really nice. And she went, well, you can't change yourself, can you, to make other people happy? Are you going to go in and tell your mum? I said, oh, I know, I should have told my mum first, shouldn't I? Like, to this day, I do still think that I should have told my mum first. But, like, when you're in that moment, it's absolutely terrifying because you don't know how they're going to react. And because of how me auntie reacted, I just thought, like, yeah, I'm going to have to go in and tell her. So after we had that nice chat, I went into my house and I was like, where have you been? You've been gone ages. And I just said, I need to tell you something. And she said, what? I said, I had a date and his name's Jake, and just nothing more was said about it. Like, it's like, hello, I had a date, and just nothing. It's just like I'd never said anything. It was just I kind of wanted me parents to react the same way that me auntie did, but then I think it's just like because after like having such a positive conversation with another family member that it did really hurt when they just weren't. I just don't know how I wanted them to react. I just wanted them to like be happy for us, but I think for like the first week or so after I told them, it was just as if I'd never said anything and they didn't want to talk about it. But I think like they just needed some time to accept it, and I'm so glad that now, after like so long, they have learned to accept us for who they are. I just felt at the start they weren't happy that I was showing them me true self. Now I just feel nothing but love and acceptance. They do accept us, and that I can talk openly about me sexuality with them. I can't imagine those people with families who don't accept them. Like, it must literally be so shit to not have family who support and accept you. I'm getting emotional now. I need to stop. So yeah, that is my coming out story, and I hope it does help some people. I think the main point I want to make is if you are thinking of coming out to your family, just have it in the back of your mind that right away they might not be all accepting and supportive of it, and they might just have questions, or they might just need some time to process it like mine did. So just have that in the back of your mind is all I'm saying, and that's my top tip for today. But yeah, that has been my coming out story, and I do hope you've enjoyed listening to my story and my struggles, and I hope anyone out there who is thinking of coming out to the parents, to the family, to the friends, I hope that you do have a smooth coming out. A smooth I can't think of any other word for it. A smooth coming out. I wish you luck, because I know how terrifying it is. I also got asked on Snapchat for an update on my current relationship status. I am single currently, but I'm happy with how things are going, and that's all I'm gonna say on the matter. Okay guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see ya in the next one.